the live stream just a moment. Last time I did it, I started it early and there's a big black screen for a while, so I don't want that. That's why I'm starting it, giving you a moment. Okay, here we go. The live stream just a moment. All right. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you to today's panel discussion, The Art of Listening, Stories of Authenticity and Resilience. Our panelists today come from diverse backgrounds, each bringing their unique experiences and insights to this conversation. I'm excited for us to dive deep into this rich topic because faith, spirituality, and mental health intersects in the lives of our individuals, in our individual lives and the organizations. We'll be talking about faith and its role in mental health, leadership, and how it impacts our mindset in today's rapidly evolving world. Let's begin by asking each of our distinguished panelists to introduce themselves to our audience. Please share a bit about who you are and what brings you to this conversation today. Let's start with Wendy.
Hello, good morning, everybody. So I am Wendy Page Sterling, and I help high achieving women learn how to trust themselves unapologetically so that they can scale their success and their business with ease. I blend together energy work, strategy, and deep self-trust to guide leaders through any resistance, limiting beliefs, so that they can make the boldest decisions so that the wealth they create is fully aligned with who it is that they are. So thank you for having me, Kim.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your journey as a thought leader.
Yeah, so I mean, my journey unexpectedly as a thought leader started about a decade ago. I went through a very unexpected divorce, which pretty much pulled the rug out from underneath me of my life. And it got me into a place of realizing that I had become a version of myself that everyone else had expected. And I had become, or I had really been for about 4 decades, I had been a people pleaser. And it was that moment that I felt my intuition speaking to me and saying, Wendy, it's time for you to stand in your power. It's time for you to really be all of who it is that you are. And ultimately, what that taught me was that I had a voice and I had a lot of really important things that I not only wanted to say, but there were things that I was put on this planet to guide clients through. And so I not only decided to leave corporate, but I decided to become an entrepreneur and become a coach for those people who wanted to do exactly what I did, which was to really stand in their power, which to me is what leadership is all about. It's about listening to yourself. It's about listening to others, and it's about really giving others permission to do the same.
I love that. All right, so Alexandra, can you tell a little bit about yourself and your journey as a thought leader?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Kim and Wendy. So much of what you just said really resonates with me so very much. Well, my name is Alexandra here, and I'm an education pioneer, founder of Always Meaningful Education, and author and also a coach. And my personal journey was really that brought me really to birth AIM was rooted in listening to myself and realizing that once I became aware of the dialogue in my mind, I was able to recognize how limiting it was. So the journey was for me was really listening to myself and identifying the beliefs that weren't serving me and then replacing them with beliefs that do. And I try to bring that to my students and my clients.
I love that. I've been in the industry for over 35 years, just like both of you in a long-term, very vested with business. And I call myself, when I got out of it and moved into the entrepreneur world, I was the Tin Man. And really what a tin man woman, right? Well, I had guarded my heart throughout my 35 years, and I've learned so well to protect that it's taken me about a year and a half to actually unprotect that, to take that shield off. No one actually to have that, because that's a safeguard. But that really resonates. So thank you so much for being here today. So it's clear that each of you bring valuable perspective on today's topic, and I can't wait to explore these themes with you. But so let's dive right into the questions. So let's start with a foundational question. In today's fast-paced world, faith and spirituality can often be overlooked when we think about mental health. So, Alexandra, how do you see faith and spirituality influencing mental health, especially in the world that's always rushing and constantly demanding more of us?
Great question. Well, first of all, let me just say that faith is transformative. For me, at 35, after over a decade on medication for mental health, I encountered a different perspective on spirituality. And it was one that emphasized unconditional love rather than judgment. And it taught me that what I sought was inside of me rather than some far off, out of reach entity. And that realization shifted everything for me. Within 3 months, I was medication free. And 15 years later, I continue to cultivate strength for both mental and physical well-being. I believe that listening to yourself, to wisdom, to faith, it creates space for healing. And research is backing this up. I just heard a lecture from a Harvard professor named Arthur Brooks recently, and he was sharing how he and his colleagues have been researching happiness. And they found that 4 daily habits that cultivate happiness are faith, family, friendship, and meaningful work. And I feel certainly like I'm living proof that faith can shape and create mental resilience.
Yeah, that's an important point, and I'm curious to hear from you, Wendy. What are your thoughts on the connection between faith and mental health in our current, often overwhelming world?
Yeah, Alexandra, I agree with so much of what you said. And similarly, I'm like, even with what you just said, I'm like, oh my God, we need to talk after this. But, we do live in such a fast-paced world, a world that I find almost glorifies the hustle and the speed and external success. And when achievement is measured that way, what I find is that faith is what always brings me back, almost like an anchor. It brings me back to my own inner peace and my ability to tap into myself and trusting my body with the signals that my body is telling me. And so, when we're moving through life, listen, I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur, I have a stepson, I have a partner, I'm a daughter. We're all wearing multiple hats every single day, right? So we're all trying to check stuff off of our list. We've got all these things to do. And so it's so easy for us to default into that place of stress and anxiety and doubt. But what I have learned through my own practice of faith, which incorporates meditation and it incorporates journaling, it reminds me to slow down, to listen to my body, to pay attention to my thoughts. Because I don't know about, Alexandra, you or Kim, but any plan that we could come up wanting to be in control of is never going to be as good as what God in the universe actually has planned for us. And so for me, what I find is that my faith is really what grounds me in my own self-trust, and that connects me back into my body. Mental health for me, similarly, Alexandra, same thing. I was medicated and I've gotten myself off of medication through a couple of different ways, but the deepest one is actually connecting myself back into my body. And so what I would really invite everybody to do and to think about is, are you moving through life on autopilot in the hustle? Or are you seeing that, that's not working for me, and actually maybe I should try this other way of doing things? Because leaders who do integrate faith with their mental well-being don't just survive pressure, they actually are able to push through it, not in a bad way, but because they are leading with alignment, the ease at which they're moving becomes so much easier.
Yeah, that so I always say I listen to the ringing in my ears, the whispers in my ear, and I listen to my gut all these years. And I always say that, you have five coaches, mentors, advisors that actually support you in your transition and even in your life all the time. And I know that all executives that I work with have a spiritual advisor or energy advisor or someone that actually works, depending upon what that is, right? Everyone's got their own situation, their own belief system, and you pick what works for you. So now let's move on to mindset. Mindset can be such a powerful force in both our spiritual and mental well-being. Wendy, how do you think one belief system shapes their mindset and personal growth, and how does faith influence how we approach the challenges in life?
Yeah, it's a great question, Kim. I mean, if there's anything I've learned the hard and easy way, is that our beliefs really do shape our reality, right? One of my coaches always says to me, Wendy, you're always going to win the game that you're playing, and it starts with your mindset. So if you're somebody who believes that your success is tied to struggle, guess what? I'm going to bet that your entire existence has required struggle in order for you to achieve the success that it is that you desire. And so, whatever your beliefs are, I do a lot of work around money mindset. So, if you actually believe that money is hard to make, that money doesn't come easily to you, well, I'm going to bet that that's exactly the life that you are living. And what I have learned, aside from really paying attention, for me, first and foremost, it is your body, Kim, as you were saying too, like it is your body that provides you with a signal that then tells your mind what to think. And so I love teaching my clients how to pay attention to their body so that it gets them more present to what their thoughts are so that they can start changing them. Because if you don't get control over your own mental beliefs, nothing in your life is going to change. And to tie that back into how does faith play into that for me? Well, I can tell you from my own experience is that what faith has taught me is to actually trust in the unknown, in the unseen, because to me, those possibilities always, right? Always provide even more and greater than anything I probably could have controlled to create myself. And so the faith that we get to incorporate into our mindset and our belief system is really it's teaching us to trust in a new way of creating your own personal growth and success. And I will tell you guys, I preach this all day every day. The people who are the most successful, it's not because they have the perfect strategy. You could take any strategy out there and make it work for you. The problem is your mindset is disconnected from what it is that you desire to create. So when you shift your mindset, right, and you think things differently, then the strategy is going to work for you. So again, shift your belief first and then notice and see how easily the actions will start to fall into place.
Yeah, that's a fascinating point about the role of belief system and personal growth. And Alexandra, from your perspective, how do you see faith shaping the mindset of individuals, especially in challenging times? Does faith act as a framework for resilience?
That's a great question. First, I just want to say that I really believed in everything that Wendy just said. It was like coming right from my heart. Um, I wanted to piggyback on a couple of things that she said, if that's okay with you, Kim,
Perfect.
particularly with regard to mindset. Um, One of my favorite people is Jim Quick, and he says if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them, right? And another one of my favorite researchers, Dr. Carol Dweck, it's a little bit more related to education, but she and her colleagues are basically researching and proving that shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset um, changes the high schoolers' academic experience with regard to just even their GPA, their overall outlook on life. So yes, mindset truly is everything. The fixed mindset confines us, and the growth mindset really expands our possibilities. So Let's see, you're asking about the role of faith and resilience.
Mhm.
Well,
Yes.
certainly, if it's like the unshakable foundation, right? That's what faith is in my perspective. It is what you are building yourself on, right? So if that foundation is not strong, then nothing thereafter will be either, right? So it's what we build ourselves on that makes us or breaks us, right? So, and faith is foundational to strength.
I love that. I love that. I love all of it. All of everything that everyone's saying here today. So self-mastery and purpose are such a powerful driver in one's personal journey. Do you think faith can be a unifying force for self-discipline in today's multicultural world? And how can we balance our own spiritual practices with the variety of beliefs and culture we encounter daily? What I'm asking here is that you give a tip. Give really something that how can someone take away what you just said and apply it to their lives? And I'd like to ask Alexandra.
Sure. Well, first of all, with regard to faiths as in organized religions, if you look at them across the world, they are diverse, right? But when we look at like Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, they all have a belief in belief. They all believe in the power of faith, and science is also echoing that. Dr. Bruce Lipton in the Dr. Tara Swart, just throwing out names, but Dr. Bruce Lipton, he came up with the belief code, I believe is what he called it. And he used that to argue for how things like the environment and our thoughts and beliefs are actually affecting our genes, right? So that's powerful, right? If what we're thinking and believing, if our faith can affect literally how our genes turn on and turn off, imagine that kind of knowledge, that awareness, the power that it will give us as humans. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm getting chills
I don't know if
actually.
I answered your question or not.
You can't see chills, but I'm getting chills. All right, Wendy.
Yeah, no, same thing. I got like full body chills, Alexander, as you were talking and with what you were saying. I'm going to answer it this way, right? So for me, I'm a recovering perfectionist. And what I've learned the hard way is that self-mastery is not actually about perfection. It's all about alignment. And to come back to a lot of what I keep saying is that, my faith has taught me to listen to what feels right for me, not to listen to what is expected or what other people think, right? And so what I have learned is that when you start to trust yourself, the faith and the discipline that you are seeking is actually going to come a lot more easily. So it's not about forcing yourself to like stay in these rigid rules, right? It's actually about staying devoted to what really truly matters for you. So when you move when you move from the place of trust instead of control, right? Type A personality, love being in control. But when I surrender and trust, right, I'm not wasting my energy second guessing, overthinking, asking other people what it is that they think. And in the diverse world that we do live in, faith keeps me anchored in my own truth, not somebody else's expectations. And it reminds me that like your purpose isn't something you should be chasing. It's
Right.
something you claim, right?
Mhm.
Feel the power in that. And so what I would invite each and every one of you guys to ask yourself is this question, okay? What is it that I get to start trusting? That's it. What have I not been listening to that I now get to listen to and start trusting? Because the flow will come from there, right? And it will guide you through every action from a place of alignment and ease instead of like running around with a chicken with its head cut off.
Yeah, I love that. So, there's a balance where there is consistency, where you're putting consistency in place, but that first grounding is very important. And if you're constantly looking for that, like you said, with a chicken, like a chicken with their head cut off, there is no really direction. So you might be putting consistency in place, but it's going all over the place. But thank you to all our panelists for such a thoughtful, profound response today. All these responses were amazing. It's clear that faith, mindset, leadership, and mental health are intricately intertwined. And there's so much that we can learn from each other. As we continue navigating this fast-paced world, it's important to remember the power of pausing, listening, and reflecting, whether through faith, mental health practices, or simply connecting with others on a deeper level. I hope today's discussion leaves you feeling inspired to bring more intention into your life, leadership, and practices. Let's keep the conversation going and continue to support each other's journey towards authenticity, resilience, and growth. So, what is one key takeaway or piece of advice you'd like to leave our audience with about mastering the art of listening, Wendy?
Ooh, good question. I would say this. Listening is the key to stepping into your leadership. I learned that the hard way. So at the end of the day, leadership is not about doing more. It is about listening to whatever that voice is that is inviting you to take that step forward.
I love it. Alexandra.
Yes, I'd like to just say that I would encourage people to listen to themselves, listen, and get in touch with that inner being. Follow that inner calling, the curiosity in your heart, the fuel for every AIM learning journey. And if you do that, you will live a life with purpose.
I love that. Well, thank you to our incredible panelists for sharing their wisdom and insights. And thank you to our audience for being part of this conversation. If today's discussion resonated with you, take a moment to practice deep listening in your next conversation. It might just change everything. Continue the conversation with us. Share your biggest insight in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, or follow more discussions that help you grow as a leader and storyteller. Till next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All
Thank
right, there you go.
you. That was great.
That was awesome.
It was
All right.
awesome, really.
So I'm gonna I'm gonna send you the YouTube link. If you want a MP3, I usually don't send it, but I can send it if you'd like to splice it the way you'd like. Let me know right now so that I include it or not.
I would love it, and
Um,
that's okay.
okay,
Yeah,
yep, that's
that'd
fine.
be great.
And just like, share. I'm gonna put the final YouTube out on the different streaming LinkedIn's where my baby is, where my platform is. So if you can just share it with others or just share your own link. I did send a thing, but you don't have to use it. I just like to give you the background if you want to use that. But use your whatever you have. I don't want to create work for you. Have a happy Sunday. Thank you for showing up, and I'm sure you'll be on more of my stages. Take care.
Amazing. Thank you,
Thank
Kim. Nice